what happens after high school? Well, most of you already know. We are now adults, and we have to find a job to do for 50 years until we retire. Nice. Just kidding. That's pretty ridiculous. How are we supposed to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives at 18? Heck, even most people don't even know what they're doing with their lives, or question if they're happy by 30. Regardless, if you're a teenager in high school, a college student wondering if you chose the right major, or you're just unhappy with your job, stick around. I'll show you some career pathways if you're feeling lost. One of the biggest factors that affects what you do after high school is your parents. Depending on what your parents do, sometimes you could follow suit. According to a survey in 2021, 48% of respondents felt that their parents had a very strong influence on their career path. In the Victorian era, almost half of all children ended up with the same job as their parents. But today, that number drops to less than 10% according to a study conducted by Ancestry. Certain jobs like plumbers, dentists, doctors, or lawyers have a higher reported statistics for their children following in their footsteps. So, if you're thinking about your mom or dad's career and you find it uninteresting or unappealing, well, don't worry, because you're not alone. Let's discuss some pathways that you or someone you know can pursue if you need a quick brainstorm. Number 1. College, the most popular choice. As most of you know, colleges come in two forms: community colleges and four-year universities. I hate to say it, but one of the most difficult times anyone will ever experience in their life is most likely during college. The difficulty of this can be affected by two things. First, what you're majoring in, and second, how much money your parents have. This generally dictates if you have to work while in school or not. Obviously, if you're studying aerospace engineering, quantum physics, planning to be a doctor, or any difficult major in general, you're going to have a swell time. But on the flip side, if your parents can afford to send you to college without you ever needing to work, your life will be significantly easier. Or, you can always just take out a huge loan and not worry about working until you're done. But I wouldn't exactly recommend borrowing too much because interest is a thing. Depending on your major or degree program, the school could make you work or look for an internship before you graduate, so we need to keep that in mind as well. I would say most people at some point during college want to work or have the time to work during summer and winter breaks, since having some extra cash is always convenient. A research study conducted this year, 2022, showed that of the high schoolers who graduated in 2019, 66% of them enrolled immediately into college. Just because 2/3 of people do it doesn't mean it's the right choice for you. Generally, getting a college degree in a high-demand field is a good investment. According to the Social Security Administration, a research study conducted by them in 2015 showed that men who have a bachelor's degree earned around $900,000 more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates, and women with a bachelor's degree earned around $630,000 more. So again, this is a relatively safe investment if you pursue a high-demand field. But let's be real, college is not for everyone. I'd also like to add that for some reason, college is unnecessarily difficult as well. So let's get into the other options. Number 2. Trade schools. Similar to school, but gives more practical information. This is a program that you have to pay for, but is usually cheaper than typical undergraduate degrees. Trade schools focus on hands-on careers that require a specific number of on-the-job, supervised hours. Trade schools prepare their students for a specific job in the skilled trades. Many community colleges offer trade school programs, sometimes called Vocational Education Training, or VET. Some examples of trade school jobs are auto mechanics, electricians, carpenters, medical assistants, cosmetologists, plumbers, or veterinarian assistants. 3. Tech schools or technical colleges. These are similar to trade schools, except they have more classroom lectures and simulated job trainings. But some trade schools teach in tech school style courses, or even share some of the same programs as trade schools, so it can get a little confusing. Keep in mind that you have to pay for technical schools just like trade schools. Technical colleges focus on preparing students for specific careers such as automotive maintenance technology, computer programming, dental hygiene, graphic design, HVAC, IT, or nursing. When considering trade school or tech school, don't look at the institution type or category as a specific preference. Just look at the associated career choice and figure out which training category it falls under and take it from there. Some careers fall under both categories too, so consider looking at how well the reviews are or how successful the program has been managed. Number 4. Apprenticeships. This is a system in which workers train on the job while also periodically taking courses in related fields. Completing an apprenticeship gives valuable work experience and credentials that can often lead to being hired where you work. Apprenticeships actually pay you for working instead of you paying them for the program, unlike the previous 3 options. One of the downsides to apprenticeships is that they can be difficult to get into sometimes, since there's not as many spots available as trade schools or tech schools. Some high-demand fields that the apprenticeships provide are airline pilots, electricians, iron workers, communication, advanced manufacturing, hospitality, and banking and finance. Number 5. Working. If you don't know what to do after high school, it's not the worst thing in the world to take a semester or year off to work and make some money, especially if your bank account is near the negative, like mine. I know some of you probably have parents who want you to go to college right away. This is pretty standard of society and how most parents think. But rushing into college and then not knowing what to do happens all the time and can potentially cost thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. So why not get some real life experience working and maybe taking some career assessments? You can also consider finding and spending time talking to a person who works in a field you'd potentially be interested in. I know quite a few people who majored in biology or chemistry that switched majors on their 2nd or 3rd year because it just wasn't for them. I'd say slow and steady wins the race when it comes to career consideration. Number 6. Traveling or doing things you couldn't. This one's kinda iffy since it can cost money to travel, and being unproductive for too long can be addicting to some people, so just be careful. But hey, once you start a job, you're most likely going to be on a probationary period for 3 to 6 months, and you usually are not allowed or won't even have the vacation hours right away. So consider traveling during this window of opportunity if it's possible, or start some hobbies or ideas that you're putting off. Number 7. Military. The armed forces is an option. It has many benefits, but contracts are 4 years minimum. Many people that I know who joined do not regret it though. Joining the military and completing the contract gives you free college, and pays you living expenses while you do so. But if you don't know anything about the military, the 5 branches with absurd simplification are Navy, mainly boats and pertaining to safety at sea, or using their aircraft carriers out at sea to perform operations. Air Force, or commonly referred to as Chair Force by other military members. This branch specializes in aircrafts, safety in the sky, or supporting the Army ground forces. Army, the main US ground force. The Army's area of expertise are ground troops, tanks, artillery, and attack helicopters. Marine Corps, similar to the Army, but has a quicker response time and actively used in times of natural disaster or providing critical aid. Coast Guard, the smallest branch that the other 4 branches make fun of. This consists of boats, ships, and shore stations that help with sea rescue, boating safety, security, or being transferred to the Navy in times of conflict. The military has many benefits if you utilize it properly, so this isn't the worst option despite how scary it can sound to some people. Number 8. Starting your own business. Most people don't do this, but hey, never say never. Oftentimes, if this does happen, it occurs down the line when someone is unhappy with their job or develops an idea with a burning desire to make a difference in the world with their product or service. Starting businesses usually requires lots of working hours and possibly failures, but we wouldn't be here where we are today without people taking these risks and persevering. I hope those 8 options help you brainstorm if you're unsure about what to do. Keep in mind that this is normal and frequent for people to change careers at some point in their life, and many college students switch majors before graduating. I know a few people who graduated with their 4-year degree who worked their concentration for a few years, hated the community or what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and then going to trade school or technical college instead. People jump into careers they dislike far more often than we think. Remember, everyone starts in different places, has different resources, and wants different things. So don't compare yourself to others. Try to figure out what you want and be realistic. No one expects you to find your dream job or calling overnight. Okay, maybe your parents do, but hey, maybe you'll even find your calling several years down the line from now. In the meantime, You gotta put in the work to pay the bills, or stay productive until then, so keep your options open and do your best. That about wraps it up. If this situation applies to you, or you think I've missed something essential or pivotal to your experiences, please share your feedback or stories in the comments for others to learn. My goal is to create a positive and reinforcing community for some fun, helpful, and practical tips or shortcuts that can help make life easier, since life can be hard at times. If you enjoyed my video, I would greatly appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe if you'd like to see more life advice and tips. I try to cover things that are not taught in schools and maybe some vital information you would learn in school, just without the tuition costs. But most importantly, your comments are what I care about the most, since it could really help someone out. If there's a topic you'd like me to consider researching and making a video for discussion about, throw it out in the comments and I'll consider getting to it. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.